Welcome in to Capper's Cave. I'm your host, Lorenzo De Costa. This is our Thanksgiving week show. So we're only going to do one show for you. So we're going to make it quick. We're going to make it easy. We're going to give out our picks. We'll do a little bit of recap, probably not too much. We just want to, give you what you came here for. Some good picks. We got some Thanksgiving Day picks. We got a lot for you. So follow us again on Twitter at Capper's Cave, at Cave Cappers. Look us up at capperscave.com. You can find our picks there. We won't put our analysis out there, what you get on the show, but we will post them. They'll probably be there after today, but before the games start, definitely. And also, our Glitter on Twitter picks will be out there. We do a nightly pick on Twitter. So again, please follow us so you can get all this shit. This is our free picks and shit. It's our show. Unfortunately, Locksmith Larry will not be attending the show today. Neither will Ricky from the Bronx, being that it is a holiday week. Again, we're going to make it short, sweet, give you everything you need. If you do have time, listen to the show, but we didn't make it too long so you can. But I understand if you're out visiting family, it's hard to find that time. But again, you might want to get away from the fucking family for a minute, which we wait so long to do it. Then we get together and why the fuck did we do this? My family is annoying. What are we doing here? No, it's all fun. It's all good. Glad they put a lot of football on. A lot of sports. Always good. Definitely always good food. Let's get to it. We had an okay week. It seems to be that we're trending more towards the NFL right now. Our numbers seem to be a little bit better. College it didn't really beat us up. We went 2 for 2 with our picks, and we went 2 for, or was it 3 for 4? Anyways, we ended up with a 57.14 for the weekend. Our college football picks and the NFL combined at 63.14 right now. So we're doing pretty good. We've always done pretty good. We've kept it in the high 50s to mid 60s, since, for the last 10 years we've been doing this. And, we felt we've gotten to a point that we can give you a show. Give you the information to beat the books. Because it's becoming easier and easier to bet these days. But tougher and tougher to find the information you want really quick. To take the time to sit and do all the research on each game, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to follow, what works best for you. With how much and how much bankroll. If you're going to parlay it, if you're going to fucking tease it, if you're going to do whatever. Let us help you out. Let us help you out. So, yeah, we did pretty good last week. A couple mentionable games. We have the Pittsburgh Steeler game, the under. That was just a shit fest, ugly to watch. Now they got Hodges playing. Which I don't know if that's really good for him. This Hodges guy is a small sample size. We haven't really seen much of him. Again, who was Rudolph? What was he really doing? He could take a helmet to the head for sure. That guy could take a beating. Concussions. What else? I don't know. He could take a beating though. Dallas. What did we find out about them last week? Well, they covered for us. That's good. But nobody seemed to be able to compete against these New England Patriots once again. Best offense in the league, can't even go in there. But it was a rainy game. It was tough to play in no matter who you are. But Tom Brady's the best at playing in any such weather because he is not human. He can play in the snow. He always seems to toss it and get the plays right. I mean, they've been playing like shit offensively. Just getting it done. Covering. I don't know. Are we going against them this coming week? I don't know. They're tough to go against. Our Liberty team, they beat us up this week. Sorry. We went for that pick just for the hell of it, and that's why you don't pick like that. But you know what? We really like Liberty in that spot. But now they're minus 14. I don't know if they deserve that right yet. But let's get into it. Let's get into our picks. First, we are going to go to the Thanksgiving Day game. I think we get the Chicago at Detroit. We're getting -1 to Chicago. I think it's a good price for Chicago off a close win to the New York Giants. I mean, New York Giants, they do have a pretty good offense, got a lot of weapons. And Chicago seems to be slowly trending upwards. And Detroit's coming off a shit loss to Washington. Off a short week. That's tough to recover from. You're at home. You got Thanksgiving. You're happy enough. You got a losing season now. Without Stafford in there, you guys are nothing. And you're not going anywhere. Chicago's got a chance. And I think they've been going in the right direction. Slowly improving each game. I mean, they got a great defense. Detroit, 5 of the last 13 turkey games. They lost to Chicago last year, but they haven't been doing too good on these turkey games. I really think Chicago's turning things around. Lions are 0-4 in the last 4 games after allowing 90 yards rushing in the previous game. 0-5 in the last 5 games following ATS loss. 0-5 in the last 5 following straight-up loss. Head-to-head, the favorite is 4-0-1 in the last 5 meetings. Bears are 5-1-1 ATS in their last 7 meetings against Detroit. I mean, the Bears have already won the first 2 between these 2 teams by a score of 20-13. It was a close game. Played in Chicago. In this game, I have to go to the Bears due to the fact that their defense has just been much better than Detroit's. Because this will be a defensive battle. There won't be a lot of scoring in this game. The most important part of this matchup will come from the defensive end, for sure. Bears win 17-14 or 17-10 and easily cover the spread. And I think Mitchie just makes a couple key plays. That's all they're going to need in this game. Because they're not going to get the key plays from the other side of the ball. I really don't think so. The Bears are hungry right now. Detroit's not so much. They're going to save their hunger for a big old fucking turkey. I don't think they get it today. And I'm going against the favorites, even though the favorites on the turkey days usually come out with a better number. Usually the favorites end up covering and winning these games. As history shows, it's around 60-some%. But you know what? I think this week it's tough spots for both of the main 2 teams that we're going to get to next here. But I think Detroit definitely without Stafford, and they're struggling. You can't be motivated at all when you lose to Washington. Washington didn't even score a touchdown. I didn't even know if they scored an offensive touchdown in that game. Next up, Buffalo at Dallas. Dallas started out -7.5. Now they're 8. Probably going to keep rolling up. Everybody's going to look at this game like, oh, Dallas they haven't beat a team with a winning record this year. This is the one. It's Buffalo because they're underrated. Let's take a deeper look into that. Again, this is already moving down. The Sharps are on Buffalo, and we are too, I think. But Publix going to be all over Dallas. This is a tight spot. Did you hear Jerry's interview? He's such an idiot. He loves publicity. I get it. Whatever. And he loves it. Talking shit about his coaches again. This is bad. This is bad morale for the whole team. Maybe it puts the pressure on him if he's going at that angle. Like, hey, I'm going to put pressure on you. Like, you're fired unless you win. Yeah, well, that's the pressure that he's got. But sometimes pressure, that doesn't work. You start fumbling around with stupid plays and stupid calls just to try to get the win instead of staying consistent on what you're good at. You're coming after that tough loss. They could have won that game in New England. They just struggle here and there, and they're still top of the NFC East. So but I still think there's more pressure. And then a short week coming off of this. I mean, again, they haven't beaten a team with a winning record. And Buffalo, they have a winning record. They're still scarce a little bit, but I think they're looking past Buffalo. Yep, Buffalo quietly winning, and now winning games they should by the margins they should. I think more pressure is on the Cowboys in a short week. Buffalo's sitting all alone on top of the wild card, staying humble, staying hungry. They should go back up when the public gets on it. Wait and see. If we get it to 9, that would be awesome. We'll wait. I mean, Buffalo's 4-0 ATS on the road, 4-1 SU. I mean, Buffalo has to go to Chicago in December next game. Are they looking at that game? Probably not too worried about that game. The team with a losing record. They have to jump back. This is a spot for them where they really have to jump on. They probably will be fired up and motivated. But I think the Bills are going to come in here quietly motivated. And you know what? They lose one, they're still top of the AFC wild card. So I don't think there's too much pressure. They might come out slinging the ball. Everybody thinks they're going to run because Dallas has not that great of a run defense. Be careful. But I will gladly take more than a touchdown with the Bills coming in this one. I mean, if you really look at their games that they lost, there's really only one lopsided game was against the Eagles. And the Eagles, they beat them both sides of the ball and won convincingly. New England game, they practically gave that away and only lost by one score. They threw 4 interceptions, shut down Brady to a 45 passer rating. Kept it close. Could have won that game. The Browns game that ended in a rare fashion with Baker fumbling the ball. It was a fumble touchdown. Bills ran it back for a touchdown. But yet, they reversed the call, and it was a complete pass. Browns drove down the field and won. Or else the Bills would have been up by 2 scores late in the fourth quarter. Could have easily gone the other direction. So even the better teams on paper, per se, I should say, with the Browns in New England and the Eagles, probably the best teams that they've played so far. Denver may be one of the best defenses they played, and they handled them pretty good last week. I think with those games, they could be sitting at 1 loss. Not that bad of a team. And Dallas is struggling right now. They know they have to turn it around, but I'm just saying, if they had a bye, it might be better for them. They got a short week, national game. Pressure's on. Bills are excited. Cowboys not. The Bills are. Next up on the list, Tampa Bay at Jacksonville. Jacksonville sitting at -1.5. Another small spread that we like. We like these small spreads. No, put you down to 50-50 just to win game. Then that's fine. All over Tampa here. Yeah, they've been inconsistent. Hard to pass up. I mean, it is. It's hard to pass up a team with the best wide receiver tandem. And the defense showed up in last game. And they got one of the best rush defenses. If they can just fix a few things. And Foles, I know he's Mr. November. But he's been off to a slow start coming back. They are off another bye week. So he just hasn't been playing. He just hasn't been playing much football. That's bad, I think, for him. This doesn't help. They're not going to be able to run, and that's what they need to do to open up Foles and make it easier on him. But this is a progression for him. He needs several games in his pocket this year, and he doesn't have it. I know in the past he didn't need it. But, this is a different team than what he had in Philly. This definitely opens the pass and definitely won't keep pace with Tampa Bay's offense. Because they are rolling right now. They got things going. I know they've been inconsistent, but they have some of the tough receivers, best receivers in the game. And if Jay Winston just puts it close to the direction, these guys are going to make plays. And Tampa Bay doesn't have to travel far. Not really playing an away game here with the great fans of Jacksonville. The Minshew thing was fun, but they've lost steam. Big picture. They beat New York, the Jets, Cincy, Denver, and Tennessee. Whoop-dee-fucking-do. I'm not high on this Jacksonville team anymore. Put Minshew back in, maybe. I just think Foles is gonna struggle again, and Tampa Bay may still think they have a chance. I don't know, but they're explosive, and they can be explosive on both ends of the ball. I think they put a better game together here, and we'll lock it up at getting a 1.5. I mean, yeah, look at the Buccaneers, 7-1 ATS in their last 8 games in December. And the underdog between these two is 5-1 ATS in their last 6 meetings. So yeah, we're all about Tampa in this one. We were about them last week too. We like that. We like that play against Atlanta. 2 inconsistent fucking teams. You just play the other consistency favor, whether this way or the other, and play into those inconsistencies. Cleveland at Pittsburgh. This one should be a brawl, huh? Pittsburgh +1. Oh, man, I want to watch this. It's going to be a fight. It's just fights. Helmets, fists, guns. Somebody might get shot in this game. Somebody could get shot in this game. Watch out, Baker. Not me. I'm not like, there's not a threat at all. I'm just saying be careful out there in Pittsburgh. The fans are going to be pissed. I mean, they're almost just as bad as those Browns fans. No offense. I mean, bad is in a good thing. You guys are fucking crazy. Hard to judge this one, though. Browns are rolling. I think at least with the motivation factor, they're rolling a little bit. Playing a little bit better offensively. Baker's throwing up good numbers. Not beating the best of teams, but they're winning, and that can extremely motivate a team. I mean, Pitt just benched Rudolph. Juju and Connor should be back. Hodges look good, but again, a small sample size with this guy. I like him. You know, he came back. He had a couple good drives with Cincy to go in and play the Browns team. I know this Pittsburgh team, again, there's too many likes on each side right now. I don't like it. No bet. Unless we get some more points one way or the other. No bet. Let's kick it to Denver. Denver, LA Chargers going up to Denver. Another small spread. Another one we like. Denver getting a point. We like the Bolts here. Rivers off a bye. Still playing tough against tough teams, though. They are. They always have when he plays in there. They still have a chance in a close AFC wildcard. Denver off a bad loss in Buffalo. Bad loss in Minnesota. And have to recover. They got exposed. They are who we thought they were with this Allen at the helm. We all got excited because they had a 20-point lead in Minnesota, but they still lost. So that speaks volumes of what kind of team they are. They can get the lead, but they just can't hold it. And then the next game, they can't even score shit for points. I'm giving it to the better QB, coach, off a bye. Small points. I mean, what are we thinking here? Chargers are 6-0-1 ATS in the last 7 road games versus a team with a losing record. They're 9-3-1 in their last 13 road games. 4-1 in their last 5 games when playing on Sunday following a Monday night game. It's 4-1 ATS in the last 5 when playing on Sunday following a Monday night game. You know that's all Rivers. He's been in every single one of those games. Broncos 8-22-1 ATS in their last 31 games after allowing more than 350 yards in the previous game. Yeah, Bills tore it up on them. Ran for over 244 yards. Spells trouble. They're going to open them up with Eckler and Gordon. It's going to be easy for Rivers. It's going to be an easy one. Broncos 1-4 in their last 5 versus the FC West. 1-5 in their last 6 home games with a team with a losing record. Broncos, the trends say no. Phillips says no. We say no. And we're on the Chargers. -1. Yeah, well, we're moving along. Those are our NFL picks. So put them in. Hope you like them. If you don't, fuck you. Whatever. Let's get on to our college football. This is rivalry week in college. And a lot of good games. A couple of good games. A couple of shit games. First one on the slate. What do we got? Are we doing the Ohio State game this week? I don't know. That's scary. We'll talk about it for a little bit, but not too much. First one on the slate, Iowa at Nebraska. Nebraska getting 5.5 points at home. This just also plays into our home dogs off a win, trying to go for 6 wins. 35% in the last 10 years. Iowa still has much to play for. Started at 5-5, now up to 6, I believe, and moving. So jump on it quick. Nebraska hasn't won this game at home since 2011. Iowa's 5-2 ATS the last 7 between these guys. Last home game, they might play some second-string seniors if they fall behind. If they fall behind early, they might say, you know what, let our guys play. And they are fighting for a bowl game as well. But again, that plays against what we're saying. Cornhuskers, 0-4 in the last 4 games following a straight-up win. 0-6 versus a team with a winning record. Just not playing good as everybody thought with this quarterback. They just don't have the team. In college, you can have the greatest quarterback, but you're not going to win games. Cornhuskers are 6-19-1 in the last 26 games after accumulating more than 450 yards in their previous. Hawkeyes are 4-1 in the last 5 road games versus the team with a losing home record. They're 5-2 in their last 7 games following ATS loss. 10-4-1 in the last 15 games after scoring less than 20 points in their previous game. Come on. Trends are on it. Is that a trend train? So they got a lot of trends in this game against them. Low team, 5-1 in ATS in the last 6 meetings. Hawkeyes are 4-1 in the last 5 meetings in Nebraska. So they play good there. 5-2 in their last 7 meetings. All over the Hawkeyes. -5.5. Playing for a good bowl game. They could still get in a good one. Next up, we're going to one of the hottest games. Texas State at Coastal Carolina. And we've talked about Coastal Carolina on the show several times. We liked them this year. I think this is one of the best teams they ever had. They've been a good moneymaker this year for us. 7-4 ATS. Texas State 2-8-1. Not a good moneymaker this year. Texas State just got whooped in that state. These guys have been on the road for 2 weeks now. Now they have to stay in the same area. There's a good chance that they didn't even go back home. Coastal Carolina's having a decent year with a couple of close games that should have went their way. They should be pissed. They should be motivated. Final home game, as they haven't won here in a while, so they'd probably like to get a win to end their season, a good season. Coastal Carolina's just better across the board. Probably the best team, like we said, and the best team they've had in years. I mean, look at Texas State last game. 70 rushing yards total. 154 passing yards. No way they keep up with Coastal Carolina and that explosive offense. I mean, Texas State's averaging only 81 rushing yards per game. This is college. You have to run way more than that. I mean, you hit 81 yards to 100 in NFL, that's good. But in college, you win games, you got to be over 100 yards rushing. And they're not going to get that being away again. They got no motivation. They just stink. To get one touchdown here, -7. On it. Coastal Carolina, -7. Next up on the board, the one we stayed away from last week was the Marshall team. I'm glad we did. Well, our initial thoughts were on Charlotte, and Charlotte did outright win. Man, it was a great game for Charlotte. You know, might want to look at that game because now they're going to try to go bowling for their next game. They did get to 6 wins, but they're going to need 7. But anywho, this is why we like Marshall in this one. Okay, Marshall, Florida International at Marshall. Marshall getting -7.5 points. Marshall again, tough loss in Charlotte. Bad weather against a team that's trying to go bowling. Marshall's probably already going bowling. Now they return home. FIU is a bit of a sandwich game. Or not sandwich, but a trap game, you know. FIU off a big win against Miami. This is a bit lopsided, though. A lot of turnovers against Miami. Miami had double the yardage. Should be a letdown. And a motivated Marshall team. Who is better? I mean, last 2 times, but get this. Last 2 times FIU went to Marshall in late November. It should be a little bit different weather there. And they will be playing a Miami team or playing in Florida. 52-0. Oh, and the next game, 48-10. I think they're going to have a little trouble here in Morganton. Or, I'm sorry, not Morganton. In Marshall. I really do. -7 points. The Panthers, 0-4 ATS in their last 4 conference games. Off a big win. 0-4 in their last 4 road games. And the Herd is 17-5-2 ATS in their last 24 home games versus the team with a winning road record. So, yeah, the Golden Panthers have been playing better away. But, of course, you're going to put in that big win a game last week. This is a trap. And the odds makers know it, or else they wouldn't be giving them -7. I think this is a 2-score game. Let's lock it up. Marshall, -7 at home. Let's get on to the 2 of the most important games of the week. Ohio State at Michigan. Again, we're not making a bet on this, but we are leaning Ohio State. And this is the smallest spread they've seen all year, 8 points. And I think that's kind of ridiculous after you had minus 18 to a Penn State team that is probably better than the Michigan team. Now, Michigan, again, we've been on them the late half of the season because they've been playing so well. And they have been. And this is Coach's last hoorah here to do anything. He has to win against the Buckeyes. So there's all that. The media's playing into it. Everybody wants a close game. But I just don't think it's going to be there. I mean, if you looked at the Penn State game, it was very lopsided. The only reason they scored 3 scores was because they had 3 turnovers. Buckeyes had 3 turnovers in the red zone, or 2 of them in the red zone. That's the only reason they had those points. They could have easily covered and dominated that game. Sitting at 8 points, that's just, I think it's going to be too easy for the Buckeyes. But, again, it does scare me that the media, the public, politics, everybody wants a close game here. I mean, look at the Buckeyes the last 3 years. They just dominated. But I get it. This is they're going to fight for their coach. They're going to fight. Sometimes that's just not enough. When you got talent like Ohio State has. Now, Ohio State, maybe they can potentially lose and still get in because they're already going to the Big Ten game, Big Ten championship, playing Minnesota or Wisconsin, which will help them if they can win that game. But do they really want to risk it? And then you got the Bama-Auburn game coming up. So, I guess it would all depend on if they lose. But they're playing at 12 o'clock, and they're not going to find that out. Yeah. I like it. But you know what? We're not going to put it on our board. Not going to put it on our board. It's going to be tough to go in the big house there. But I don't think they have the talent offensively or defensively to stop the Ohio State Buckeyes. All right, we're going to go to the other big game of the week, Alabama at Auburn. Auburn, the Iron Bowl. Auburn get 3.5. Alabama does remain in the playoff debate, but they won't have the luxury of playing in the SEC championship game. This has got to be Roll Tigers. I mean, listen to Saban. Oh, this is our toughest test. Our toughest test is campaigning. LSU. He's really campaigning for the committee. Maybe he's predicting a loss. Can they go there and win with Mac Jones? I'm talking about the playoffs. Can they go there? Nah, Mac Jones, playtime is over there, buddy. Jones, you got your scrimmages in against Arkansas and Western Carolina, completing a combined 28 of 34 passes for 510 yards and 6 touchdowns with no picks. Oh, great. Great scrimmage game. Great. It's going to be a wee bit different. Does the committee really want Mac Jones in there for the Final Four game? This is a loss for me. Auburn would love to kill their chances for a playoff. Republican sharks probably all over Bama. That's why we like it. Auburn held their own last game against Bama. Auburn, again, they got the true freshman. He struggled in the wins over Oregon. He struggled in the loss to Florida. He struggled in the loss to LSU. But in all 3 games, he still kept pushing. And he was able to come up with a few big throws to make a difference and keep it close. And in all 3 games, the Tigers were alive, despite getting a rough outing from their quarterback. This isn't the Auburn offense that they might like, but overall, it seems to be effective. You got the friendly confines of being at home. And the last 7 to 9 games, the losses, obviously, to Florida, LSU, are the outliners. He's hit at 60% or more of his passes. Just as important, he threw a total of 6 picks against Oregon, Florida, and LSU. And none against everyone else. I think he's slowly, he is settling into the job. He outplayed Jake Fromm in the loss to Georgia. Coming up with a few terrific games in the Ole Miss and Mississippi State. And now he gets to turn it loose with nothing to lose. It's possibly they would love to win this game for their coach. He might be a little bit on the hot seat. Is it possible to throw on Bama? South Carolina's Ryan Hilsicki was able to do it. And so was A&M's Kellen Mond. Joe Burrow probably won the Heisman by throwing 393 yards and 3 scores against the Tide. I don't think Bo Nix here, the quarterback, he doesn't have to be too special. He just has to be okay and let the defense do the rest. Bama has to not only win convincingly to receive a berth in the playoffs. I think they're gonna have to win out pretty good, and they might try to get flashy at times or try to do too much. I think that's gonna give them a trouble away against a good defense. I mean, the Tide they're 3-7 ATS in their last 10 games after scoring more than 40 points in the previous game. 1-6 in the last 7 following an ATS win. The Tigers 5-0 in their last 5 games after allowing less than 100 yards rushing in the previous game. 7-1 in their last 8 games after accumulating more than 450 total yards. 8-2 in their last 10 home games. The home team is 5-2 in their last 7 meetings between each other. And Crimson Tide 2-5 in the last 7 meetings in Auburn. Why are we not whipping it out? Whipping out the bankroll on this one. I'll leave that 3-5. I think it's going to be a straight-up win for Auburn. Bama's chances going to be done. Going to be shot this week. Let's lock it up. Auburn. Plus 3.5. All right, again, I said it was going to be a short show, and it's a short show, so we gave you all our picks. And if you didn't have time, you can obviously go to Capper's Cave. We're going to post them there. CappersCave.com. Check out our nightly Twitter picks. Go there on Twitter at Capper's Cave, at Cave Cappers. And again, thanks for listening to the show. Next week, we'll be right back at it. So if we don't hear from you, have a happy Thanksgiving. And win some fucking games.
You're in big trouble, though, pal. I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast.